I remember vividly one of the girls particularly liked Bayonetta. You may guess 3 times why. Welcome, acolytes. Today I am reacting to Walkthrough's Racism Meltdown over White When Backfires from Ref Says Dessous. Gonna do a quick one right now. If you like my content, leave a like, subscribe, press notification button. Like, sub, show me and Ref some love. And by the way, yes, the mental health of every person matters, basically. Except it's I'm gonna be honest, I personally have my own thinking about it. Not every human being is worth actually being invested in, but that's another point. But let's see what this is about. And by the way, if I am a bit low energy today, I actually found out that sparks can burn you. Never had that. I always wear some kind of protective gear on my hand. I cut some nails down, and yes, with a flex, it burned me, so there's that. But as it is, well, I won't treat it. Why? Because I am just like that. So let's start.
Hey, what's up, guys? Ref here. So at this point, I think it's no mystery that on Twitter, you will see some of the most toxic behavior rewarded if the target is one that people think is an acceptable one to attack.
I mean, that's not even specifically Twitter or X, or as you want to call it. It's X, so it's X. But at the end of the day, I mean, we still have 4chan. And all other social media are exactly the same. So I just don't see it as something special that's specifically for X or Twitter.
And the reactions to this tweet parallel a lot of the issues in the gaming industry.
Yeah, but I will agree on one thing. There are a lot of freaks that think that they are correct about it
currently, and I want to talk about how they relate. So here we have this tweet, very basic, just saying men's mental health matters. Now, unless you're a psychopath, I think this is something we can all agree on. Oh wait, this is Twitter. So here here's this tweet reacting to it saying, if men's mental health mattered to men, they'd be creating safe spaces for themselves and each other.
Oh, such freaking bullshit. Because if we even have safe spaces for men, they're specifically for men. Women just want to come in. And you don't believe me? Okay. Then don't. I don't care. Because in the end of the day, you just have to see the fitness. Yeah, the last one was... how is it called? A fitness studio. And men were most of the time there. And now there went women in that just were freaking totally toxic and just wanted to catch people and pretend that they are freaking perverts. And don't get me wrong, you know exactly what I mean with that, because 99.99% of people are just normal people that go in to train, to socialize a bit and do their stuff. And there of course are some freaks, but come on. You really want to tell me that this toxicity isn't something that women didn't just blink in, went in like a motherfucker, and then just got in this? Come on.
Pursuing therapy and creating community. Instead, they perpetuate the very behavior systems that have handicapped them in the first place, refuse to support or create community amongst each other, severely damage the women in their lives who try to care for them, and attack women online for not doing the work for them in replies to tweets like the one below.
Nope, I disagree. If you have a real man, he will take care of the women in his life. Except you're not worth it. Because remember, just because you, how's she called? Danisha Carter. Just because 10 guys that you know just say, I don't give a fuck about you, say that to you, doesn't mean that all men do that. And especially if they say they don't have any real things, they don't have to. It's your problem. Just live on with it.
LOL. And you can see 164,000 likes
Disgusting,
on a tweet
by the
that's
way.
basically just saying, men, you deserve everything bad happening to you and it's all your fault. Now, a lot of people looked at some of the mentions here of safe spaces and communities and the claim that men don't have any of these things or have never tried. And a lot of people countered with gaming. Okay, that is a space that only...
Yeah, sure. Yes. If ever... Gaming was a male-dominated and still is a male-dominated thing. Women just want to go in and force themselves in by being absolutely toxic. And I don't mean everyone, of course. I mean those specific feminists that are just toxic in their entire fucking life and just want to go in and just ruin the fun for everyone. It's disgusting. It's just disgusting behavior. I never had in my community, gaming community, when I was young, I never had a problem. Some girls played and we just talked. Those were normal human beings with the same hobby as I. And then you have some wrenches just going in and being toxic. Right now, just because, oh, you're toxic because you're playing this and this. Yeah, just... And then changing. Concord, here you got it. The last fucking fail. Concord, the diamond in the raw of the shit stain.
A decade or two ago was predominantly men. I think it's no secret, and a lot of people found community amongst gaming, right? But nowadays, if you look at the gaming industry in particular, things look very different than they did about 20 years ago. And it's not just that there's more female gamers, it's more about the people making the games. The people making the games, whether male or female, have entered the space with an agenda, and an agenda that often demonizes men. And I think that...
Yep. And if you don't see it, you're actually lying to yourself. Or you're just not interested in stuff like that. That's, by the way, fair then. If you don't care about it, fine. But if you care and you're spilling bullshit like that...
That is greatly exemplified by several stories we're going to look at today involving the gaming industry and those involved with it.
Yeah, I already... I am just baffled. Game developers confess advice and video game consoles, and developer Marine Dice says fuck white men and gatekeepers. Very good. You know what? I actually, before the entire thing, I was against gatekeeping. After everything, I think that the gatekeeping has to get harsher. Not to a point where it's toxic, but to a point where everybody gets just dissected to everything. It's just disgusting how people can infiltrate and just go in.
Beginning with this headline right here. Game developers conference advisor and video game consultant and developer Marina Diaz says F white men and gatekeepers. This is a very common gaslighting strategy for people like this who invade someone else's hobby or space and then kick out the original people and said it was never for you in the first place. Now,
yeah, and the thing is, it's never for you. Just look at the games in the past, and I never, every gamer woman I actually talked to, I never heard a single complaint about a woman being too sexy. On the contrary, most of them inspire to it. I remember vividly one of the girls particularly liked Bayonetta. You may guess 3 times why.
Now, who is this individual? Well, you can see she's already privated.
She's just a... Okay.
Because people like this are totally afraid of any sort of criticism. But she's also the CEO of a gaming company called 3 of Cups, where you can see their mission statement here. 3 of Cups Games is an ethical, diverse, and inclusive game studio based in London, UK. We believe that we can help to change the world through games. We believe in emotions. We believe in making games for everyone. But above all, we believe in people.
By the way, don't care about that. Can games change the world? Definitively, it's an art form. We believe in emotions. What? I don't know what brain rust you're in, but yes, emotions are just a fact of life. We believe in games for everyone. I'm gonna be honest, this sounds more and more like a Christian fanatic no, in my case, Catholic fanatics that just wanna invade people's privacy and just put in their point of view. Believe. Where is there to believe in facts? If it's a fact, it's a fact. Damn it.
Amazing. A whole bunch of word salad about diversity and inclusivity, but they also say we believe in making games for everyone. Well, except for white men, apparently. So here's a tweet.
I went from thinking game as sound designer to consult and train teams at one of the biggest game companies in the world. Keep believing in yourself and the white men of gatekeepers. And probably fuck white men and gatekeepers.
Tweet she made only a couple of days ago saying,
so here you have it. How is this inclusive? Just think for 5 seconds. How is this fucking inclusive? It's just such a lie.
I went from thinking I'm a shitty designer to consult and train teams at one of the biggest games companies in the world. Keep believing in yourself and F white men and gatekeepers. You'll see a common pattern here where every single thing she does in her life, she counters by also saying something negative about white people, in particular white men, because apparently that's what's on her mind constantly. But besides the racism,
you know what? For every white dude that's in her head right now, at least we get our rent for free.
And the misandry down here, we have this statement, which I don't know why she thinks this is an own. She's basically saying, she's admitting that she's not a very good designer, but then saying that she's been entrusted with the responsibility of consulting and training teams at one of the biggest games companies in the world. This is not something you should probably be saying. It confirms a lot of suspicions people have.
Yep, and she's... Post, I went from post übersetzen 7.8k mal angezeigt. This is German. Ref, are you German? Can somebody tell me if Ref's German? I don't know.
About the qualifications of people in the industry right now. But moving forward, she had many other tweets. This one was from back in April, where she said, growing my abs to crush nuts and obnoxious white men with them. She literally can't even work out without thinking about white men.
Damn.
It's very, very strange. Here's another one.
I mean, that's actually a mental illness? Or it should at least be.
From earlier this year in April. Why white men over 40, for being somehow generous, are allergic to saying the word diversity. And this is also a common pattern with a lot of people in the gaming industry or games journalists who have this very strange infatuation with older male figures. They're always angry.
Probably grew up without a father figure. Not probably.
At older male figures, but pretty much at that point the jokes write themselves. But in this scenario, you have someone who's in their 40s, right? Older people in the industry, and they're saying, like, why don't they buy into my version of diversity? Well, probably because they have a lot of life experience and they see what you mean by diversity, which is not actually diversity, because your diversity doesn't include...
I mean, to be fair, Ref, and acolytes, be honest, you don't need a lot of experience to see their bullshit.
Them, or other people you don't like. So they see this and they just don't buy into it, and that makes you angry. But she would continue with other tweets where she was talking about going to a conference and saying that she met someone she has a lot of respect and she admires, and she is saying we need more people like her to kick the old...
Oh, those kinds of freaks were in a mental hospital a few years ago. Why are they out? Why are they out right now? It's just...
white privileged asses. Again, nothing happens without thinking about white people as a secondary response. Here's another one where she was organizing a spontaneous meetup in Berlin for marginalized game developers and how amazing this has been. And this person says, oh my God, Marina, I love this. Where she replies by saying, I was so tired of so many cis white men at meetups. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, behold, diversity and marginal...
Well, you're in Berlin.
...creators. Yeah, this looks like your typical like games journalist meetup here. But yeah, that's the story with all of this. Clearly very unhinged. This person has an issue with white people, white gamers, and it just is blatantly obvious. And of course, as per usual with people like this, she has all that bravado when she's going unquestioned in her echo chamber, but the second she gets any real criticism or blowback, they hide and go private. I mean, we've seen this happen pretty much every single time a person in...
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing new. That's just what happens every time. You can basically set a clock on it or set bets and you win 98% of the time. So
the industry is criticized for anything. Now, moving on to the next topic, we're going to shift over into animation studios here. So similar to what's going on in the gaming industry.
Oh, instantly, nope. This animation, how is it called? This animation, the style, is very, very popular in woke media. This shit, or something akin to that. So just be wary as soon as you see this shit. So yeah.
You have people just boldface saying that they're going to prefer to hire women over men simply because of their gender and nothing to do with their credentials. So here you have...
Yeah, and the thing is, you could basically sue them if you go in and try to get in, and then they say, no, we're not hiring you because you're a white male. And you could technically sue them. But who the fuck would even invest their time in it, invest their money in it, and then have the risk of some judge saying, well, I don't agree with you, even if it's totally illegal to actually discriminate someone based on their gender and skin color. It's irrelevant.
Have Studio Smokescreen, who says, big news. We're proud to announce our commitment to make sure that women make up at least 70% of our entire adulting production team. We've partnered with our friends over at Women in Animation to both get feedback and source talent through the development process. Big news! We're doing a discriminatory hiring practice that's probably illegal in most countries. Like, they're just admitting this outright. Like I said, they are saying that we care more about your gender than your actual credentials, and we will keep some weird status quo number of 70% and always uphold it in terms of how many women work at the company. It's very, very strange. And it also reminds people of High Guardian Spice, where they had an all-female cast, and that was an absolute disaster. And it's not really that...
Yep, it's really not surprising if you're hired based on gender and skin color and not based on skill.
Surprising when you have unhinged people who have a bloodthirst for half of the world's population. It kind of corrupts everything you do in your life when you have this sort of nonsense in your head. But anyways, looking at Studio Smokescreen, you can see that they have a Kickstarter.
By the way, it's not half of the world thing. They had specifically something against white men, and white is actually quite the minimum. It's not... Most of people have a different skin color. Brown, black, something like that. So yes, white people are actually a minority worldwide. And that's quite interesting. This was information I actually never expected.
Kickstarter project for their adulting animation, which is what they were mentioning in the original tweet. And let's see the Kickstarter. Oh, it's raised $18,000 out of its $100,000 goal with 17 hours to go.
Nice.
It's not going to make it. Anyways, let's move back to the gaming industry here. And we have this headline some people are talking about. Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red opens applications for 2024 edition of annual Girls in the Game mentorship program. Now, if you're shocked to see CD Projekt Red doing this stuff...
Yeah, I am actually quite disgusted about it. I mean, even Poland got in it, and it's just so baffling to me.
You haven't really been paying attention the last couple of years. They've been slowly integrating more and more DEI-related stuff into their company. It's getting pretty obvious what they're focusing on recently. But this sort of mentorship program definitely reminds me of the mentorship program at Ubisoft. My channel and a lot of other channels talked about a few days ago, where they have a program where you have to identify as a woman or a non-binary individual just to be eligible to apply for this mentorship. Now, bouncing over to CD Projekt Red, you can see in their equitable practices section here, let's read this. We're not afraid to stand up for what we believe in by implementing inclusive benefits and creating a space where everyone can be themselves. We create a positive example for other companies and help affect positive social change. We believe that talented and passionate people are our biggest strength, and creating a strength and inclusive workspace helps us create more room for them in the industry.
By the way, I also believe that you should create a not directly family feeling in the company, because a company is there, or at least for me, to make money. But what I always try to build up with my people is a trust between each other. So it's not a family, but it's something where I have your back. You have mine, I have yours, and we're in a circle. That's how you build up something good. But by being racist and exclusive with that, won't work.
And at our company, and that's the director of culture, diversity, and inclusion at
Okay, Agnieszka Szamełek Michalska. Okay. Wait. Agnieszka Szamełek Michalska. Do I... No fucking way. Did I go to school with that bitch? Nah, never. The face, I don't remember it. The name is 1-to-1 the same. But nah, never.
CD Projekt Red. Now that is reflected in their Girls in the Game program, where it says, we create a mentoring and scholarship program for high school girls to help them take their first steps in the video game industry. And it basically, they go on to talk about how it relates to a lot of their goals at the company. And this is one of those things, like, it's
dziewczyny w grze. Yeah.
It's great that you're helping out these high school students and getting them basically their first taste of...
You know what? It's not great. Because it's exclusive. And as I said, take the best talent. That's all. That should be the only thing. But it's good for the girls to actually get up, but it's probably some talentless hag that goes in there and just wastes the money, time, and everything.
Of the industry, but like, why are you only letting women do this? Like, why not just make it an open mentorship program? You're talking about inclusivity and using all different perspectives to make your product even better because you have everyone involved, but then you have programs like this that are limited to one gender. It just seems very strange, and like, it could be a very good benefit just to give this to any gender. Like, I don't understand. But overall, that's kind of the relationship between reactions on social media like this to the gaming industry, as well as animation studios and other forms of entertainment, and how people have gone into those spaces and basically kicked out all the people who were there, particularly men, and created a space where there is a lot of agenda pushing, and a lot of that agenda has to do with hating on men, and it's reflected in the tweets and the public statements of many different developers across the board. But for now, that's going to do it for this.
Yeah. Acolytes, I really hope you enjoyed this, but I'm always getting mad if somebody gets treated poorly just because of their gender, race, or anything else. It's just so disgusting to me. And yes, today I am even a bit more harsh about it than normally, because I had actually a strongly pigmented person that actually made me lose a lot of time just because they were so freaking privileged. They don't... It's irrelevant. Just have a good night, acolytes.